Hare Krishna, thanks a lot for joining. We'll start our session soon. Let's start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Thanks a lot for joining. Let me share my screen. Okay, maybe it will be nice to just have a super quick review of previous session also. Okay. So we are nearing to the end of Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna is actually he's going to explain important concepts in which consciousness Arjuna is going to fight this battle, the battle of Kurukshetra, and in which consciousness he is going to perform duty. These principles are very much relevant for you and me as well, because these are eternal principles what Krishna is discussing. So this particular chapter which we discussed in the previous session, the Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga, it talks about divisions of faith. We discussed about the how what we believe in actually decides our destination, because we perform our activities with that understanding, with that determination, and that faith navigates our destination. So whom we admire from bottom of our heart, whom we aspire to become, so all these are internal things we may not share with others, but those things, they influence our thought process, they influence our actions, and based on that we take decisions in our life. Now there are certain important points while Krishna discusses the divisions of faith. So of course, goodness, passion, ignorance, these are the three main divisions of modes, but how they influence our thought process, it's discussed very nicely. So it starts with the food, the kind of food we eat, how it affects our thought process, how it makes whatever we input, how it constitutes our body and how it affects our subtle body, that was discussed. Then what kind of this under three modes of material nature, what kind of sacrifice one performs and what he's looking, what will I get out of this, that kind of mindset. So there are three types of sacrifices that we discussed. The three types of austerities, that generally austerity is done for specific purpose. So whether it is done for some purity purpose, whether it was done for show off purpose, or it was done for some illusory purpose. So all this we discussed. Then we also discussed about penances. So discussed the difference between austerity and penances. Both are actually sacrifices, but austerity is done for some future results, and penance is generally done when I'm confident that I had done something wrong in the past, and to purify the effects of those activities on my consciousness, I should perform some austerities, that is penances. So again, there are some sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic penances. And of course, there are three different types of charities. So these sacrifices, penances, charities, they actually they are purificatory activities, and they need to be done in a right consciousness. So Krishna discusses them in depth in 17th chapter. So charity, in which consciousness we should do, what time, place, circumstance, the person who is receiving, person who is giving, their consciousness, everything matters to get the results maximized while performing charity. And then the importance of Om Tat Sat. The Om means that absolute, the Om means actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the scriptural regulations. Tat means that, so we are referring to Supreme, and Sat means eternity, the truth. So when we chant these words, we actually remember the Lord, that through my penances, through my sacrifices and charity, the presence of Lord is felt. And with that, consciousness immediately comes to very elevated level, that I am actually doing it for some very high purpose. So these Om Tat Sat words are very useful. And then Krishna concludes this chapter that without faith, uh, anything done as a sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith, then everything is impermanent and it is useless in this life or next. So the faith is very, very important factor. And more we contemplate, more we try to see how these principles I can apply in my life, and we start seeing God's hand in our life. So this faith gets deepened over a period of time. So we discussed these important things as a matter of 17th chapter. And in the 18th chapter, we are going to continue the theme, but in little more deep. So I hope all of you can see my screen on 18th chapter. Can somebody just give thumbs up or something? Okay. I assume it's visible. So this Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter is actually last chapter of Gita, where Krishna is going to give very condensed instructions to Arjuna about the important things. So he's going to discuss very important themes. And the first half of this chapter, almost till 40th verse, Krishna actually discusses determination. He talks about understanding, the knowledge, and then many other different things under the influence of three different modes of material nature. And all of that matters to decide our mode of action. So Krishna wanted Arjuna to perform this battle in a very perfect mindset. So, and in the next chapter, Krishna gives an additional knowledge, which is very, very specific for the conclusion of this whole series, and that we will discuss as a part of the next session, part 2 session. So in chapter 18, Arjuna actually has this very important question, because if you remember, the whole session started when Arjuna wanted to renounce. He doesn't want to execute this war, thinking there are so many, he's going to kill his relatives, there are so many sinful reactions, so many future generation, past generations will be affected. So all this thought process was there. So Arjuna asked very important question: what is the difference between tyaga and sannyasa? Because tyagi, sannyasi, it looks like very similar things, but then Krishna actually clarifies it very nicely in this chapter. So purpose of renunciation, that is tyaga, is giving up the results of all activities. So tyaga means I perform the activity, but I'm not attached to the activity. That is a tyaga. I give up the results. And what is the purpose of renounced order, the sannyasa? The sannyasi, he does not perform any activity. He gives up the activities itself, which are based on material desire. So the important thing to understand is that to become a sannyasi, to give up an activity, to give up a material responsibility, one need to be of an absolute consciousness where he is focused fully on pleasing Lord, and he has nothing to do with this material world, and he is not even bothered to maintaining his own body also, basic bodily needs also. So it's not an easy thing for everyone to become sannyasi. It's a very, very rare people who can reach to that stage. But this tyagi stage, that giving up the results of all activities, that all of us can practice, and practically we can also achieve almost similar results by one which are being achieved by the renunciants. So it's very interestingly, it is stated here that every renunciate exhibits renunciation. So renunciate means sannyasi, people who are already in the renounced order of life. They exhibit renunciation, but everyone exhibiting renunciation need not be renunciate. Means everybody who is I mean, even without being a renounced order of life, one can practice the principles of renunciation, that they are not striving for any material desires, material prosperity, or they are focusing their time and energy for elevation of consciousness. So this stage is possible for everybody, and Krishna wants Arjuna to become a tyagi, perform activities with absolute intelligence, with absolute clarity and focus, but don't be attached to results. Krishna goes on to explain this even for renunciates, for example, although they give up everything, these three things, sacrifice, charity, penance, they should not be given up. Because sacrifice, the act of sacrifice, the charity and penance, they actually purify even the great souls. So, sacrifice, as I mentioned, it comes in austerity and the penance. And the charity, it could be a charity of knowledge, charity of time, charity of resources, money, whatever it is. And of course, penance means with the mindset that I have actually done something wrong and I need this austerity is something which I have to do as a duty. That consciousness, it actually performs, it purifies even a great souls. So even great souls can be, it was recommended even great souls should perform these things. So for you and me, this is something which will definitely purify us. So, but the only thing that we should perform these purifying activities with a duty mindset, not for any kind of show off and not, as we discussed in previous chapter, 17th chapter, not for any lower ulterior motives. It should be with the higher motives. Now, Krishna goes on to explain more principles about this executing duties. So he explains about these prescribed duties. Now, thing is, when we are discussing this renunciation, important factor to remember is duty should not be given up. Whatever prescribed duties, so prescribed duties we will discuss in the second part. For Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, they might, as per their own core nature, as per their own skills, mindset, they have acquired a specific responsibility, and that becomes their prescribed duty. So they should never be renounced. And if somebody is thinking to give up that prescribed duty, the primary basis which helps one to elevate in consciousness, if somebody is deciding to renounce those duties, that renunciation is complete in mode of ignorance and illusion. Now, the second thing, I mean, if somebody is giving a prescribed duty, not out of illusion, but it's a troublesome and it's a lot of bodily discomfort is involved. So for such kind of renunciation, it is actually it's in mode of passion because now person knows why the duty need to be done. He understands the importance of it. He is not in ignorance, but just because it causes bodily discomfort, he thinks others life is better or that person's grass is greener there. But there are, as Krishna mentions, there are ups and downs in every single responsibility, every single prescribed duty, or every single position role has ups and downs. If we are internally not prepared for it, then giving up our current duty with that troublesome and bodily discomfort is again it's in mode of passion. What is how the person in mode of goodness gets renounced? He performs his prescribed duty because it ought to be done. He's not he knows there is a bodily discomfort, he knows why it need to be done, and he performs it. At the same time, he renounces any attachment to the fruits. So such a kind of renunciation from the end results is what is said to be in the mode of goodness. So second chapter, third chapter, whole Karma Yoga is actually based on these principles. Now, when it comes to the person who is actually executing these duties, the intelligent renouncer. So we discussed that we have to perform our duty and get detached from the results. But while performing duty itself, one should neither be hateful of inauspicious work or attached to auspicious work. So getting detached from result is one thing, but while performing the duty or the journey itself, one should perform it because it had to be done, because he has acquired certain prescribed duty. Now it may involve some inauspicious or auspicious work, but it has to be done. Again, the duty mindset is hammered again and again in this particular verse. So there are always desirable, undesirable, and mixed kind of results. But people who are renounced, that those who are not attached to the fruits of the work, for them there are no suffering or enjoyment for the next life because they are fully focused on much higher purpose rather than trying to enjoy the results of their work. Now Krishna goes on to explain very important concepts. The place of action, or it is this word is used as adhishthanam. Adhishthanam means the area of influence and the body itself. The performer. So there are three types of performer. One is a desiring performer, that is the soul itself. Then there is a sanctioner, that is a super soul. And then the actual action is carried out by the nature. So all these different types of performers. The various senses, the senses are the one who actually drive, or they are actually made up of Prakriti, but they are the one who are linking between the desire and the action. And many different kinds of endeavors. The chesta word is used here. So endeavors means actual actions which are being carried out, and ultimately the super soul. These are the five factors of action. So to perform any action, one need to understand that the adhishthanam, the various types of doers, the senses, endeavor, super soul, everything has to be in line, and then only any kind of action can be performed. So all of them need to be synced, in sync, for performing this auspicious or inauspicious work, and one need to be absolutely detached from the end result. That's applied intelligence. I used actually Brahma's photo in this slide because he's the first person after getting the knowledge from Krishna about how to create the universe, what kind of qualities, what kind of spaces, what kind of planets. So he knew he has to create a place for even demons or even people who wants to be completely forgetful by God. He wants to create that kind of, he needs to provide for them also, and at the same time he needs to take care of some auspicious places also. So he did his duty perfectly with the detached mindset, the way Krishna wanted him to design this universe. So I think he's definitely a most intelligent being in this universe. Now Krishna goes on to explain the types of knowledge. So this, starting this slide, whatever comes is actually the self-analysis tool. So this is not for somebody else. We need to analyze in which category we are coming. So the slides will come about knowledge and the understanding and determination. Think of yourself. I'm at what level? And I might be very good in understanding, but am I good in determination? What kind of knowledge I have developed? So all these things will help one to elevate, and just be honest with yourself, whatever level we are. And then Krishna also gives the tools about how to elevate to the next level. So types of knowledge. Now this knowledge where one see undivided spiritual nature in all living entities. So one who sees Paramatma in every single living entity, that kind of knowledge. So one which actually connects to the God, and one which he is looking forward friendly relations to every other living beings. That kind of knowledge is in mode of goodness. So I'll repeat it. One who is seeking, one who is able to see the Supreme Lord in every living being. So he is looking to worship that Supreme Lord. At the same time, he is looking friendly relations with every living being. And he's specifically looking for the association of elevated devotees. Such a knowledge comes in the mode of goodness. Now, the one who is in mode of passion, he actually sees various living entities, but he sees, okay, these living entities I can torture, this I can eat, this I can, he is my enemy, he is my friend, he is my relative, whatever. So this, all this kind of differentiation, where we differentiate between living entities and we keep God out of the picture here, but he still knows the souls are there, and then he treats them accordingly. Such kind of knowledge, the knowledge itself is in mode of passion. And that knowledge, where one is attached to one kind of work, all in all, he is not bothered about the science of soul, science of self realization at all. He just thinks this work which I am focusing on, the work is worship, this is the one which will which is the aim of my life, and he is not bothered to develop any kind of spiritual knowledge. Such kind of person's knowledge is generally, it's in mode of ignorance, because he just developing all material knowledge, how this machine works, how that works, and he is not able to relate to people, and he is not even understand this science of soul or science of spirituality at all. That comes in the mode of darkness. Now there are three types of actions, this the kind of actions which are being performed. So let's first look at the mode of goodness. So first thing, action which is regulated. Regulated means it's not very less or it's not excessive also. One action which is how much it is required, that much is being done. Sleep, specific time. Eating, specific quantity. So depending on phases of life, one has his actions regulated, which is performed without any attachment, without love or hatred, without desire for any results. So such action is in mode of goodness, and it helps to elevate consciousness, it helps to develop proper knowledge, and this action leads one actually to come to the proper understanding where one can actually develop deep faith in the spirituality. But the action which is the next passion action, the action which is performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his senses and desires and enacted from the sense of false ego. So this action is the motivation itself is to prove oneself, one's superiority over others, to gratify all the senses. The I want to see beautiful things, taste beautiful things, touch whatever the beautiful things. So all this, I just want to gratify all my senses to the maximum capability, and for that I'm going to put extraneous effort. Such kind of actions are in mode of passion. And what is the ignorant actions? The actions which are performed in illusion. First thing, there is no connection to knowledge at all. Forget any kind of scriptural injunctions. And he is not even concerned for any kind of future consequences or bondage. And just focusing on violence to oneself and violence to other living entities. Such kind of actions, particularly or like suicide blasting or just torturing others or just is neither elevating himself nor elevating anybody else. Such a kind of disastrous actions comes in the mode of ignorance. Now, who is performing those actions? The person who is performing, the doer, they also come in these three categories. Now, we need to really understand what is our motivations and what should be our motivations. So, in this slide, in these verses, Krishna says that one who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature. So, all of us are affected by modes of material nature. We have this goodness, passion, ignorance overflowing through us all the time. But if we can somehow or other elevate ourselves to the mode of pure goodness, for much so pure goodness comes only when we are connected to much higher level, higher level consciousness. So when we perform this duty without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm. Now this is very important. When we are not attached to results, from where we get the determination and enthusiasm, it comes with the proper knowledge. What is the purpose? And with that purpose, all kind of enthusiasm, and then I am determined to overcome all kind of obstacles. So this knowledge of the final purpose, it helps one to get this level of determination and enthusiasm where one is no more attached to the end result of his material activities, and without false ego, without wavering in success and failure. Such a worker who is performing endeavors in such a mindset, this worker is in mode of goodness. Now, the worker who is attached to the fruits, it's a similar to the action which we saw in the previous slide. So he is very much attached to the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy these fruits for himself or his extended family. He is greedy, envious, impure. So as soon as we leave connection to God and start focusing on bodily platform, then all these attachments or I would say impurities related to the mode of passion that take over. And what are the workers in the mode of ignorance? They are always engaged in the work against injunctions of scripture. So that is, they are materialistic, they are obstinate, cheating, expert in insulting, and they cannot take even a single feedback from anybody. They are lazy, always morose, and constantly procrastinating. Such a worker in mode of ignorance. Now, this normal worker, what we discussed, is still okay. But when somebody takes any responsible position, somebody is leading, maybe he is leading his family or leading his certain group at office or certain group of friends or whatever, any organization. For leader, these qualities becomes all the more important, because the leader who is obstinate, he trying to cheat, he's trying to insult others, and lazy, and he's always procrastinating, then he not only brings himself down, his whole area of influence, his family, his group, the whole everything goes down because of such leader. And a leader who is greedy, envious, impure, he's just going to cause disaster across his area of influence. But a leader who works with a proper determination, enthusiasm through all the ups and downs his life, he can not only elevate himself, he can elevate his full area of influence. His maybe his family, maybe his area, or maybe his some organization or his office, everything he can elevate. So it's very important that we understand this quality and strive to progress to the next level as much as possible. It's not possible that okay, I'm lazy procrastinating, but I should not remain on that level. After getting the knowledge, I should work towards how can I overcome it. Try to get that knowledge and work towards it. That's very important. Now the types of understandings, because these are, again, as I discussed, these are all self-analysis tools, and it's very important that uh, that we analyze this properly. So what kind of understanding comes in the mode of goodness? So that understanding, which gives a lot of clarity, what is to be done, what is not to be done, on basis of what? On basis of scriptural injunctions. He has already studied properly from various angles, contemplated, and at this point of time, at this phase of my life, at these circumstances, what is the right? What is the right decision? So that understanding is in the mode of goodness. He knows what to be feared, what not to be feared, where one can be fearless, what is binding, what is liberating. With all that understanding, one can take very clear and elevating decisions which he will never ever regret in future. But the decisions which are taken on basis of bodily platform, so that comes understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, focuses just sense gratification, forget about religion. Then between actions that should be done, action that should not be done. So the person here is having a lot of ambiguity in his life. He has little bit knowledge, but his passion, his greed to enjoy senses, they actually clear a lot of obscure atmosphere, and person end up taking decision which he will regret later on in his life. Oh, I should have done that. Oh, I should have listened to him or whatever. But this but if some or other person can overcome with, if he can recollect the instructions which he has gathered from the right sources, if he can take a pause and then respond, so such a person can gradually progress to the level of goodness. And what understanding is in the mode of ignorance? The last paragraph, it's all upside down. They consider irreligion to be religion, religion to be irreligion. Under the spell of darkness and illusion, they strive always in the wrong direction. So these people, they make fun of principles of religion. They make fun of people who are following proper religions, and then going to pub, then smoking, drinking, whatever. They think that is how the life need to be lived. And under that spell of illusion, they always strive in absolutely wrong direction, and the understanding itself is wrong. They never bother to read scriptures, never bother to listen or take advice from others, or follow any other principles in their life. They are just given up for all negative activities. Such people, their understanding is in super mode of goodness, mode of ignorance, and they can never take proper decision in their life. So this elevation of our understanding from one level to next level is also very important. Now it comes to the type of determination. So determination is very important to execute specific duties in life. So the determination which is unbreakable. So he knows that why am I doing, what am I doing? No matter what problems comes in life, I am going to overcome them. It's very important that determination need to be unbreakable. And it has to be sustained with the steadfastness by yoga practice. Yoga practice not mean doesn't mean just bodily postures. The Ashtanga yoga, the yama niyama, what to do, what not to do, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, samadhi, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, all these various stages. So he is very much determined to progress to the next stage. It controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses. So that determination, it drives his decision and his actions. Such determination is in mode of goodness. But that determination, which is like motivated for the temporary sense gratificatory results. So they holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, sense gratification. It's in mode of passion. What is the problem with determination in passion? As soon as one sees that I'm not going to get certain results, his whole determination is lost. He is no more encouraged to do that duty, his prescribed duty as well. And there are very nice chances that his determination will be broken in due course of time. So if you find that if you're not able to sustain certain activity for a long period of time, always go back and check whether my determination is in mode of goodness, whether my purpose is clear, whether my objective, whether it is very high level. If not, if I'm just looking for some temporary gratification, then that determination in passion will not last long. So that's the problem with the determination in mode of passion. And the determination which cannot go beyond dreaming and sleeping, we just keep on planning and planning, no execution. It doesn't go beyond fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, illusion. This is basically no determination at all. Such an unintelligent determination. It comes in the mode of darkness. Now we come to the almost second last slide of this session today. The type of happiness, because all this activity, whatever we are performing, they are for specific happiness, right? So what is the happiness in the mode of goodness? The one which is feeling like a poison to start with, but nectar when the result comes. And one which awakens one to the self-realization is said to be in the mode of goodness, that happiness. So to perform um, some activities with in disciplined manner, like it might be yoga, it might be any specific study, you have to put some discipline in life, and that is definitely kind of a poisonous to start with. It's not pleasing at all. But if you continue, then the results are nectarian. Now, what is the uh, happiness in mode of passion? It starts with a lot of happiness, appears nectars at the first because it's based on the senses and their objects. It appears nectars at the first, but poison at the end. So I may I may eat something which I like. If I eat too much of sugary thing, oily things, or junk food or whatever, the results which I'm going to lead myself is going to be disastrous. Over a period of time, I'll lose my basic capability, basic thinking ability, everything will be lost. So this passionate happiness is, or I'm just late night, I'm attending some bars and then dancing throughout night, and then next day morning I'm out. So this kind of happiness, it's actually in the mode of passion. It's a nectar at the start, but definitely poison at the end. And the happiness which is like poison to poison, okay, which is neither happy, neither pleasing at the start nor pleasing at the end. So it's a blind to self-realization. Self-realization is out of window. It's a delusion from beginning to end, and it arises from sleep laziness. This kind of happiness is actually in nature of ignorance. So this sleeping for like a polar bears for many hours, or drinking and then smoking and then whatever the different substances, or indulging some kind of wrong activity, watching some horrible websites day and night. So this kind of happiness is in pure ignorance. It's a waste of time, waste of energy, and waste of precious resources, the waste of our own consciousness also, because our attention span, our focus, these are actually our greatest strength. And if you do not utilize it for proper purpose, this so-called happiness in ignorance actually just drags us down. Now, coming to the last slide of this verse, navigating through life. So why we are studying these all self-analysis tools is because they are the basis of motivation to perform our prescribed duty. So when our inner motivation, it is not motivated by false ego, our intelligence is not entangled with any kind of sense gratificatory results. So Krishna is saying that now Arjuna's main question was, if he kills everyone, so many sinful reactions will come. But Krishna is asking Arjuna to operate on such a platform where he is not motivated by false ego, not out of some vengeance. His intelligence is not entangled. He knows what exactly he is doing. So there are spirit souls and all that. So though such a person kills men in this world, he does not kill. That means he is not bound by any kind of sinful reactions. So this is the answer to one of the Arjuna's very critical question. So Krishna is saying that perform the actions without such a ego and with understanding what is what. This proper application of intelligence is very important. And then Krishna goes on to discuss about this knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower. These are inner motivators, and the senses, work, and the doer. So all different types of doers. They are the external motivators which constitute the action. So with the combination of all this knowledge, with all this self-analysis tool, Krishna is advising that perform our duty with proper contemplation and proper understanding and proper discrimination, then and slowly elevate. Know exactly, be honest with yourself at what level we are, and then progress, try progress to the next level. Krishna ends up this particular section saying there is no being existing here or in the demigods in higher planetary or even in lower planetary. Across this universe, there is no living being which is freed from the modes of material nature. So every single living entity, what you see around, is going through all these different challenges. And it is our duty to elevate our consciousness through this exercise. So thank you so much for your attention span. If you have any specific questions, please ask. We still have maybe 3 minutes to go. Or I actually thought of revising these slides, but I have actually something interesting to share with you. As a revision of this chapter, I'm going to share one interesting slide with you from my one of the another PPT. So this is again the revision of this, but it's very in concise manner. So these are self-analysis tools to identify one's own nature, what we discussed. So there is a knowledge, happiness, understanding, the work, determination, and the doer of work. All these different things which we discussed. So knowledge, as we discussed, knowing the Paramatma in every other living entity. So good knowledge in mode of goodness is always inclusive. So it's not, it's we try to elevate ourselves and others also. Passion is separatist, that I want to elevate, hell with the others. Ignorance is exclusive, is not bothered about neither me nor anybody else. That kind of knowledge is in mode of ignorance. The happiness is like poison to nectar. I'm just mentioning key terms to remember. Poison initially difficult because of discipline, but later on results are nectarian. Passion, nectarian to start with, enjoyment, but the poisonous results, and ignorance is poison to poison. The understanding in the mode of goodness is lot of clarity because his understanding is based on scriptures and all the injunctions. He's putting his effort to build up his nourish his spiritual intelligence. The person in the mode of passion, because this his personal motives and biases comes in picture, because of his sense gratificatory activities, his understanding is he has a lot of ambiguity whether to do or not to do. Ignorance person, he is in full confusion. He doesn't have any understanding what to do, what not to do. Mostly ends up in destructive activities. The work, goodness is always dispassionate, detached from results. Passion is always attached to the end of result, and ignorant work is always destructive. Determination, he is very steady in his duty because he is very clear about purpose. Then passion is a steady intuitive mentality. He's steady, but for his personal sense gratification, and ignorance is just a dreamland. There is no determination at all. And doer of work, goodness is in always steady, determined, and enthusiastic because he knows for what he is performing his duty. Passion, he's unsteady. When the result comes, he is happy. Doesn't come, his determination goes down. So he's always greedy and envious. And ignorance, such a person is obstinate, cheating, disrespectful, lazy, all these different things. So these are the qualities of this self-analysis. So I'll share these slides with you, and thank you so much for your attention. Let's end our session by chanting just once Hare Krishna.